All right, let's talk here about one last one here before I get into a prediction for the week ahead. The London terror attacks. This is red hot. So a bloke who a judge at the time said effectively should be on an indefinite sentence because he cannot be rehabilitated. Instead, advocates, does this remind you of any policies we have in Australia? Advocates went off and argued for a change in the law. They changed the law. He then was able to get his endless sentence changed into 16 years, and for some reason he was able to leave halfway through. And then he stabbed people on London Bridge. Well done. Let's have a...
Usman Khan and his gang here under security surveillance in 2010. They were plotting to blow up the London Stock Exchange and to build a terrorist training camp in Pakistan. When he was convicted at Woolwich Crown Court in 2012, the judge said Khan and his co-defendants had an ambitious and serious jihadist agenda. He added, "In my judgment, these offenders would remain, even after a lengthy term of imprisonment, of such significant risk that the public could not be adequately protected by their being managed on licence in the community." So what happened? In February 2012, Khan was given a sentence called indeterminate for public protection, meaning he can't come out unless deemed safe. But amid fears they were being misused, IPPs were scrapped in December 2012, leading to many appeals against them. In April 2013, Khan went to the Court of Appeal and was successful in swapping his term to a determinate sentence of 16 years. Under law at that time, he only needed to serve half his sentence and did not require a parole board to be released. So he came out at the end of 2018 on an electronic tag. So now comes the political argument.
I have long said that this system simply isn't working. It does not make sense for us as a society to be putting people convicted of terrorist offences, of serious violent offences, out on early release.
6 months after his conviction, Khan wrote a letter while in prison asking to go on a de-radicalisation programme because he wanted to become a good British citizen. It seems unlikely he was genuine, and this case poses a number of serious questions.
It doesn't seem unlikely it wasn't genuine. I mean, honestly, this was somebody trying to play the system. Anyway, look, can I also just say it's a couple of weeks to go till the UK election, and amazingly, there are people who say this somehow is going to be a problem for the Conservatives because it was the Conservatives who ended up changing the law back in 2012. I'll just ask you all yes, no here. Does anyone believe that Jeremy Corbyn, as British Prime Minister, is going to be harder on radical Islam than Boris Johnson? What do you think, Christy McSweeney? Let's just double-check.
Absolutely not. But thanks for checking.
Yeah, Campbell, just to make sure that my analysis is correct, do you reckon he's going to go soft?
I think Mr Corbyn would be far gentler, shall we say.
Yeah. By the way, the BBC apparently has just reported that Boris Johnson has confirmed 74 people have been released into the community under the exact same circumstances as this bloke. 74. They were in jail, essentially never to be released. Then you fiddle the system, change the law, out amongst the people. Well done.
Can I say that?
But Paul,
it's furious agreement on the no about advantaging Corbyn, but those 74 people, if they don't round them up and that one of them does something significant, then that could be a big problem for the government.
Well, and hopefully you can turn this grab around in the next hour, though. How's this? Jeremy Corbyn told Sky News in the UK, quote, terrorists should not necessarily serve a full jail term. He's saying this in open.
That's the worst soundbite I've ever heard in an election campaign.
He's the worst leader in an election.
But mate, in Lefty land, that Paul, somehow makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Paul, can I just land this to the Australian context? Because in the last fortnight, it's been widely reported. There was that report that came out looking at the effectiveness of de-radicalisation programs, said they weren't effective. And then you overlay that with the bleeding hearts who want to allow male fighters who have gone to fight for ISIS in Syria and places like that, in Iraq, they want to let them come back into Australia. I mean, give me a break.
Well, mate, KK says it's our moral duty